Right, man. Thank you for coming on. Much appreciated.
Yeah, man.
So we first met when I turned up to a yoga class, like an impromptu kind of like yoga class, and you were there. Was it didgeridoo you were playing at the time?
Yeah, that was it.
I think it was, and you were going around the yoga group. What like? I just want to explain to people what it was you were doing, because I'll just butcher it. I'll just lay there kind of like in awe. So like, tell me about like, or like tell like the viewers what it was you was actually doing.
Yeah. So on that occasion, I was playing sound for a yoga class. So basically, during the class, I was playing instruments around people to almost relax the people even more, so they can take in the movement even better, and the sounds altogether, it works good with the movement. And at certain points I was playing the didgeridoo on people's bodies, and that's with intention and the sound vibrations. It can be very healing for some people, and it can move energies because it's quite a powerful vibration. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, like I remember, like I'd gone to do the session yoga because I was having a bit of tightness in my back. I remember you like came around with you were kind of like focused on me for a good couple of minutes, and I was just kind of like frozen almost. But it did seem to be doing something. I could feel some kind of like energy, kind of like working its magic. And yeah, when it did that, it just kind of like opened my mind to kind of like the possibilities of kind of like healing, like through sound. Yeah, it's really interesting. I've seen on Instagram. We'll put your Instagram like handles on here, by the way. We'll put it in the comments or whatever. I've seen on your Instagram that you do a bit of like, is it like community work or like care work using sounds and
exactly
and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I've worked with a lot of mentally challenged people, should we call them, with difficulties learning or speaking, and because of this, sound is a kind of enters their body in an easier way, and it's an easier way to understand things. It's a language, and if they can't speak English or don't understand it, sound sometimes is a lot easier to understand for them. So that's also another power of sound, and to teach them rhythms through drumming. I do a lot of drumming, so rhythms, it's really good for the cognitive function of creating pathways and patterns in our brains. So I do a lot of that too, and singing even, opening this throat area, that's really good for expression. And some of these people that I've taught have never sang before, and when they do it, it opens up a whole new aspect in their life to express it. So it's beautiful. I do a lot of that too. A lot of children, work with children with drumming. I found that really good, to sit in a circle. It's an ancient way to sit in a circle with people, and to drum, it's like very communal. We're all in this together. It's like a heartbeat. So I love drum circles too.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that it's got like a tribal kind of like origin, I guess, and almost like a primal kind of instinct to make sounds, not necessarily words, but you can convey a lot of emotion, a lot of feeling through sound, I guess. So it's a really interesting kind of way to communicate, because I think it's like sometimes like words can be, but not really the most reliable way of communicating intention, are they really? And you can get lost in words very easily. Whereas like sound and expression and things like that, I found it to be a much more truthful kind of way of communicating. So it's interesting, like the stuff you're doing in that. So how did you get into it? Like, did you do it as like a kid or?
So just going back on that point of language, it's like you say, words are quite limited, aren't they? When you say a word, you already have an idea of what it means to you. You know, it's already has a history, a pattern in your life, and each word means a different thing to each person in a way. I mean, there's a general consensus, but you know, it's hard to go beyond words sometimes. So I love music for that. Yeah, and I got into it. Well, when I was a kid, I wasn't that creative really. I had a lot of energy. I probably would have been diagnosed with mild ADHD or something. But when I started channeling that into something, that was when I went traveling to India, and I was, I think I was about 19 when I went alone to India. I spent about a year there, and I picked up, I had a teacher in Goa that I learned drums, djembe, African drum. And, you know, I learned with him for like 2 months. And after that, I just bought a drum and traveled the world with it. So I just went for it in a way because I felt it, you know, and I didn't have any plans with it. I just felt it was doing something for me. It was healing me, you know, allowing me to express. And then I started playing certain instruments around people or on people while I was traveling, experimenting, and it kind of grew. And then about 3-4 years ago when I was in New Zealand, it kind of developed into, you know, hosting these sound journeys or sound therapy, and kind of took off there for me to understand what I'm actually offering. And then 2 years ago, I came back to England, and now I've been offering it all around England, you know, traveling, doing different yoga studios, festivals, my own events in Bridlington, online things. So yeah, it's still developing. I don't know where it's going, you know.
Yeah.
And my new offering is kind of like an overnight sound journey. So that's like 8 hours of live music that I play with gong, with handpan, didgeridoo, and people get to lay down. And you know, some people can't sleep or have trouble, and this is like a safe space for people to come and just take in all the vibrations, you know. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it at the moment.
like so for people who don't know what these instruments are, you know, like I know like things like didgeridoo and stuff, like people probably know what that is, but like some of these other bits and pieces you play, is that one in the background there?
This is a gong. Yeah. Oh. Oops. I don't have the proper mallet at the moment. It's somewhere in my box. But yeah, anyway, it's an ancient instrument from all around the world, to be honest with you, but a lot in like Tibet. You use it in the monasteries, stuff like that. And each gong has a different frequency, so it kind of builds up, and then it hits a certain frequency in your body. And you know, we're all vibration and atoms and protons and electrons, you know. So these kind of soothe any imbalances in our energetic bodies, you know.
That's interesting because I know that there's been various like studies done about different frequencies and how it alters kind of like the human mind and the human state. I can't remember where I heard this, but apparently some people up with 440 hertz.
Right.
With most kind of like Western music, it's tuned like 440 hertz. But it used to be 436, I believe it was. But then, can't remember who told me. Some musician told me that the Nazis apparently looked into it, researched it a bit, and found that tuning to 440 actually makes people a little bit more kind of like aggressive. I'm not sure how accurate that is. That might be like a made up fact. But it is interesting how different frequencies alter kind of mood and setting, and the fact that different gongs have like different frequencies, you know, maybe for changing kind of mood so it's a powerful thing, because like that's of the universe, isn't it? It's a series of frequencies and waves. You know, so it makes total sense.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? And just because we can't see it. Yeah, and just because we can't see it, well, some of us can't see it, but you know, we all feel it. Some people can. We do. we all feel it at the end of the day, don't we? We all know when we love music, you know, have a good song, we all feel something from it. So what's that? You know, it's energy going into it's vibrations, isn't it?
It is. It is incredible, like how it all works. You know, and like I think it's something that as like a general population we don't quite understand yet. I mean, I obviously know about it's studied and stuff like that, but there's not much in the public conscious about sound therapy or communicating, you know, in different ways with sound. I think, particularly like nowadays with social media and how we all do stuff like electronically, you lose a lot of those frequencies. You know, so those kind of common interactions are kind of suffering like a little bit, I guess, which is maybe why there's less community spirit now, maybe because maybe we're not all tuned into the same frequency as we used to be 50, 100, 500 years ago. I'm speculating, obviously. So like, did you grow up in Hull or like how did that work?
Yeah, so basically, my mum's from Hull, and I was born in Bev Westwood Hospital, which is no longer there. And then my dad's from Thailand.
Cool.
Yeah. So they met traveling, and then when I was born there, I stayed there for a few years, and then in Hull, and then we moved to Thailand until I was like 8 or 9 years old, and we lived in the village and lived a very simple life, you know, going to a Thai school and, you know, very simple rice fields and buffaloes. And then we came back because my mum wanted a better education for me. You know, healthcare, everything at that point, England was, you know, one of the best places in the world for that. So, you know, we came back for that, and kind of ever since I've been still here, but I've traveled probably like, you know, 7 years of my life outside of England as well, you know, India, Nepal, New Zealand, Mongolia, Mexico, and just really exploring what this world has to offer, you know, this realm.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. I think that's what Hull's kind of great for, which, like, again, like we forget, it's a port city, you know. So there's so many people who come through the city like every day, you know. So you've got all that influence, and a lot of the people who've lived in Hull over the years I've gone to see. Like my grandfather went to see, travelled around the world. I remember, like, when I was a kid, I'd go to him and my nan's, like, on a night after school. I'd get him from school, run to my nan's, like when my granddad was back from sea, and just listen to him tell stories about being in wherever, Argentina, you know, Holland, South Africa, wherever, just chatting all these bad stories. So yeah, it's cool that. So like how is kind of like your upbringing, your like multinational kind of like upbringing, how has that affected how you teach and how you work with like other musicians?
Yeah.
Do you think you bring like it from like a different angle, do you think, or?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And like going back to the port bit, like you say, like my granddad was also, you know, in the Navy, and he went to the Falklands, and, you know, and he ended up stopping. Yeah, so it's quite cool, you know, that, like you say, there's a lot.
Which ship was he on?
Oh, I'd have to look at that for you, but yeah, he was in the Merchant Navy. He was on the seas for like 30 years of his life. Yeah, they'll probably know each other. Harry Watts, his name was.
this could be crazy. So my granddad was in the Merchant Navy, and he went to the Falklands on a merchant ship. It was really, we need to check this out. So he was the chief engineer on the Northern ship, ship called the Northern, which was the only merchant vessel, I believe, to go to the Falklands.
Huh.
So if your grandpops was a merchant guy as well, I bet he was on the same ship.
I reckon.
Yeah, we'll have to do like an episode 2, like the history kind of thing.
That's a good idea. That, yeah.
That's wild, isn't it? But again, that's what's beautiful about Hull, though. The way it's all kind of intertwined, and there's loads of different links to everybody. It's mad. I absolutely love it. Like, it's like just like the place I am now. So I'm just down in Morocco. The amount of people I know from Hull who've been here, and it's a tiny little village.
Yeah.
It's like, and when I say tiny, I mean tiny. It's probably about half the size of South Cave.
Wow.
It's little, and like I posted like a few pictures and stuff, and I must have had anywhere between 10 and 20 people like, like, check out this coffee shop, or get your food from here. All the different people have all been. It's cool.
Wow. Yeah, man.
So linking back to you, we bumped into each other at Stern Point as well, didn't we? In the camper van, you just bought yourself a van, and you was in the middle of doing it out. Like, how's that going? Have you developed that more? Have you?
Yeah, it's pretty much done now. To be honest, I'm just there's a few upgrades I'd like to do in the future, like a solar panel and that. But now, I've since then I've travelled all around England, in Scotland, Wales,
nice.
Down south, Cornwall, and Lake District, and Northumberland, and it's been awesome, man, travelling this beautiful country and to see what it's got to offer, because a lot of my life I did run away from England because I didn't feel a connection, and going back to growing up in Hull, I grew up on Orchard Park, so it was a tough life, man, the only brown kid on your street, so I was fighting a lot, but I've come to realise and appreciate Hull a lot more after travelling around England, and it has changed a lot, and I feel like the people up at this part of the country in East Yorkshire and Hull are really down to earth, like, salt of the earth people, and can have proper conversations with, and I love that, and I wouldn't want to be from anywhere else in the country, because it's a humbling place to come from, and it makes you appreciate anything that's higher than that, in a way. When you start at a certain point and you can see it from a different perspective, it's good. So
it's definitely like a wonderful place, and like I always appreciate it more kind of like when I'm away from it. You don't always appreciate how good you've got it, I think. It's strange, and it's definitely improving. There's a lot of people doing some like really cool stuff there, and I think it's just going to continue to, to grow. So when you're doing the traveling and stuff, because you do jewelry as well, don't you? You say like beautiful handmade jewelry. How does that work? Do you like do it in your van and sell it at your retreats, like ceremonies, or have you got like a website you do it through, or?
I do a bit of everything, bro. So I kind of started. I kind of started selling on the street, to be honest with you. And, in Thailand on the beach when I first started.
Jewelry, yeah.
Yeah, the jewelry, yeah. And busking.
That.
But it goes well together, a bit of drumming, a bit of jewelry. On the beach in Thailand, and then when I came back to England, I started just down Whiteford. I just put my sheet out on the ground and just started selling, and just thought, let's see what happens. And I really got a lot of support, to be honest with you, and it supported me to travel again. And But since then, I've kind of developed, and that was about, that's about 6 years ago now. But since then, I've got an online shop, and like you say, I sell at my ceremonies or my events, and that does really well. People really like to see it in person and support in that way too. And I've got a lot of international support from, New Zealand. When I was there, I did a lot of workshops, and it's really, I feel really blessed for it to be able to do something I love and to share it with the people,
Well, of all the pieces which I saw at a yoga session you did, and subsequent bits you posted online, they're incredible pieces, beautiful, like the stones and stuff, and like the craftsmanship around how the stones are held. It's like it's incredible. I mean, I will put a link again, to the jewelry, so I'll get all that off you in a sec. But have you got any bits like with you now or anything like that?
Got one that I'm wearing actually. This one's quite a big one, but this one represents like a guardian, a kaitiaki, they call it in New Zealand, and that's all woven with knots, and then there's a jade piece at the top from New Zealand. Right, and it represents a face. This is the tongue. In New Zealand, when they do the haka, they call it a pukana. And it's like pretty much like a war face, but the way I've used it with the intention is like a protection. So this is a protective piece, and it's quite a big piece, but I do a lot smaller pieces, obviously. But this is one of my pieces too.
That's beautiful, man. I mean, we're struggling to see it a little bit on the camera because I don't think it gives that much detail. But again, there'll be some pictures of it, I'm guessing, on your Instagram and on your and your online shop. Like every time I see it, I'm just like, bloody hell, like the time it must take you to make those pieces, and like the love which you must put into them, because we're all like a bit different, and it's like different from each other, just nuts. So like what's next then? Because you're doing all this stuff and like smashing it, and you always do it. The thing which is so like nice about you, and the reason why I wanted to talk to you, because you do everything with this really kind of infectious energy, like big smile on your face, full of love, just putting it out there, and people buy into stuff like that, So it's like, what's next? Like where are you going to take it?
Thank you, bro. Thanks for that. I really appreciate those words.
The truth, man.
What's next? I mean, I'm going to Thailand in about 5 days to see my family, which I haven't seen in about 10 years, and they live in the village still, and it's quite a traditional place, and it's rice fields and buffaloes, and there's something there for me to connect with my ancestry, and when I'm there, I want to learn Thai massage, to be honest with you, and because it's something with my hands touched, which I've been practicing over years, but I haven't directed it into something. So that's kind of next in a way, to learn some Thai massage, some ancestral skills, and I want to bring it back here and keep putting my energy into this land as well, because at the moment what I'm doing, it's growing a little community here, and I'm seeing the change in the people, and I'm feeling it from the land, so it feels right to be here right now, and I'm just going to crack on with this, carry on, and keep going in my cold water every day, keep my own practice up, so it's a sustainable journey. Do you know what I mean?
So that's what you do. That's what you're doing with the cold water. Then is it like the old Wim Hof kind of method, or
pretty much. First it was for myself, for my own healing, and it still is, to be honest with you. I probably go in the sea because I recently moved to Bridlington, which is about 40 minutes up north from Hull, and so I'm right on the coast. So I've got the ocean there, and I go in about 3 times a week now at the moment, and it's really just keeping me on this path and keeping me solid, keeping me going. So and then I've started inviting people with me, and then it's kind of grew, and now there's like 6 or 7 of us that go in regularly. So there's something happening there too with the people here with the cold water. There's a connection. So there's so many outlets of healing and, you know, connection that you know, I can't stick to one. Why? You know, why I want to experience everything, you know.
Yeah. So what is it about the cold water that you feel a benefit from? Is it the mental clarity you get when you're in the water? Is it kind of the relaxation of the muscles? What is it that you see a benefit or feel a benefit from, cold water immersion?
I mean, there's a good few benefits, to be honest with you. Like you say, it brings a certain clarity to the mind. You know, when, you know, no one wants to go in the cold water. You know, no one wants to be uncomfortable. But when you push yourself to that point and go in, it almost reprograms your brain to come out of comfort and to say that, yeah, I'm stronger than this and I'm stronger than my old patterns, because a pattern would have said, I don't want to go in there. But if you break that pattern, it becomes easy to break other patterns. And when you start building that up, addictions start fading away. You know, since then, I'm, you know, going in the cold water. To be honest with you, I feel like it's helped me stop smoking weed, smoking tobacco, you know, stop watching porn, you know, years ago. And it's really helping with that, and to understand that all our addictions are just patterns, man. We're all born with patterns from ancestral DNA, you know, and to break certain patterns that no longer serves us is, for me, is a reason why we're here on this planet. So that's one part of it, you know, muscle relaxation, everything, you know, it's a powerful tool. It's one of the most powerful medicines I've ever had, to be honest with you.
That's a really interesting concept, that the breaking of patterns, you know, and I think it's something which would benefit like almost everyone, you know, and the getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, you know, pushing through those things where normally you turn back or normally you'd say no. With breaking those patterns, I think it's so important. And like the cold water thing, what a great way to do it. And it's right on your doorstep. I mean, like maybe not like in River Humber, there's some nasty ass currents in there, but yeah, what great way to do it. So one question which like always gets banded about is, what advice would you give to like a younger version of yourself and all that nonsense? I like to change it up a little bit and say, what advice do you think an older version of you would give you now? So what advice do you think the 80-year-old version of you would say to you?
Wow, that's a good question, that, bro. To keep following the heart, man, you know.
Yeah.
Follow that truth which is in the heart, because, you know, the heart rarely gets corrupted, you know. It's so true and pure. The mind, it's easily manipulated by outside forces, but the heart is one of the most truest forces I feel in the universe. So yeah, follow that. Keep following that, Arachai.
Yeah, cool. And do you think that advice would be any different from the advice which you'd give to a younger version of you?
No, it's probably the same. Yeah.
Just one pure message. Yeah. That's good.
And obviously we need the mind to navigate this world, because, well, if you just was all with love, you'd be easily taken advantage of. But, you know, we also need to listen to this more. I do or still do, and I will always try to do, you know. So, yeah, I think the heart's a powerful tool navigation tool that we need to utilise more. Yeah,
definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of the resounding message, isn't it? And by the sounds of it, you've got a few different instruments or tools to create those pathways, you know. So it's like it's great, man. What we'll do is we'll put all the links to your different pages and stuff like that. Phil accompanied this episode. You're the first one, like who I've interviewed. You know, like
Wow.
as soon as I got asked to do it, I was like, right, you know what, we need to start this off with with a load of love and a load of positivity. You know, so, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your stories and your background. It's like much appreciated, man. So where can people like find you, or where can people work with you? Have you got any workshops coming up or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got a good few. Yeah. I've got quite a lot coming up. But yeah, the easiest way is probably to follow my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/macrame by Arachai, which I set up as my jewelry page, but now it encompasses everything. And then my Instagram, which is Instagram/Arachai Haorang. Obviously, we can do all the links and that, but you know, all the events are on there, and you know, the music's on there where you can support me. My jewelry's on there, and you know, if anyone wants to talk, it's also you know, my inbox is open as well. So yeah. I'm not very good at promoting myself, but yeah.
Mate, you don't have to be. I think when someone's got like a purity behind what we do, then the personality that is your product. You know, and it's not something necessarily you have to sell. You know, I think people are drawn to it anyway because there's a pureness like to it. So you don't have to worry about selling anything, man. Smashing it. So yeah. So
I appreciate your time as well, brother, and what you're doing and your Benny. You know, it looks like you're doing some cool stuff, and you know, let's keep bringing it back to the people on this land. You know what I mean, and sharing it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It's just you just got to keep moving, haven't you? That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Cool, right, man. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
and we'll put all the links down for people to follow. But yeah, thanks again. I'm really looking forward to seeing what we do next.
Thank you, Adam. Much love. Safe travels, brother.
Cheers, man. Speak soon. Take care.
Take it easy.